Whilst you were out partying, I studied the blade.
So even though BeatSaber's accuracy system is fairly simple, getting good at accuracy is still one of the biggest things most new BeatSaber players struggle on. This is probably due to the fact that, unlike in most other rhythm games, in BeatSaber, timing is not involved at all during score calculation. Instead, only two things matter: the angle of your swing before and after the cut, and how close it got to the center of the 3D block. A perfect cut in BeatSaber would be worth 115 points, the angle of your swing being worth 100 and how close you got to the center accounting for the other 15. This is simple enough, but being that precise is actually really hard, especially when maps get more complex or faster. So what if I told you that there's a way to swing that is not only more consistent, but in theory, overall better, and it's based on something called time dependency. Time dependency is essentially how much acking a note relies on timing, and there's a whole document about it written by Hello and Rocker, two insane players. But to sum it up, let's take a normal bottom row down note. If you were to take the center point of this note and trace it as it comes towards you, you would get a line that represents the path of the center. Let's look at this from above. If you were to swing your saber at the block angled inwards, you need to hit the block at the exact moment its center lines up with your swing to get full points. This is known as a time-dependent swing, and it's the same with swings angled outwards. So to make your swing non-time dependent, it's better to line up your swing with the path of the center. This will make it so that no matter when you hit, assuming it's within your saber's reach, you would still get full points for hitting the center. Now it's important to remember that this is within a 3D space, so you can come in from different angles and still have a non-time dependent swing. For example, it's common to see accuracy players swing at outer lane bottom row notes from the side. This is because, unlike the mid lane note, if you wanted to come in from the top, you would have to reposition your arm above the note before swinging. Another good example would be mid lane bottom row notes that are angled inwards. As long as your swing is parallel to the path of the center, it will be less time dependent. This kind of thing also applies to a lot of different note placements and patterns. Since there are 12 different places blocks can come from, there are also 12 different paths the centers can follow. And there are a ton of things players will do to make their swings less time dependent. From changing their grips and controller settings, to getting hit score visualizers that show how time dependent their swings are. And it's important to experiment around a bit to find something comfortable that works for you. Now if you've gotten to this point and are still confused, I would recommend checking out the document. While time dependency is important, it's still a fairly advanced concept, and there are a ton of really good players who don't even know about it or use it. So if you're new to the game, I'd recommend just playing more and coming back to this later. If you really want to understand it though, or just have more questions in general, I'd also recommend joining the Accuracy Champ community on Discord, where there are a ton of insane accuracy players who can probably explain it better than I did. That's about it for now, but if you have any ideas or topics for future videos, just let me know in the comments below.